Glad that you could make it. I want to talk about, really, today's theme is water, and I want to cover a couple of things. Most of it is all good news, and Mr. Fry obviously is very familiar with some of these topics that we're going to cover today. One is just recently recognizing the amount of rainfall that we have received in Wichita, especially in West Wichita, and I've seen some of the rain gauges and monitoring out there in West Wichita, and we've had some pretty significant rain, more than we've had in a number of years. I think I've even seen some reports of 6.5 inches of rainfall in some areas in West Wichita, which in years past would have really complicated West Wichita. And we've made some improvements, and we'll talk about a few of those here in just a minute. The good news is we've received about 5.5 billion gallons of water this month, where it has placed Cheney Lake at full capacity. I think I heard this morning we're at about 104% capacity at Cheney Lake. The other good news, when you talk about that amount of rain, and I'm jumping around here a little bit, we have no reports of any structures being damaged by floodwater in West Wichita. And there's a multitude of reasons that has happened. Many of them are the stormwater efforts that we've been making over the last 7 or 8 years that are finally making a difference. And be happy to talk about any of those in detail if you would like more of that information. The other thing that I want to mention is right now today, the Equus beds that we've been working at recharging through our ASR program, the Equus beds today are at 96% full. That is great news when we talk about where we're at in terms of preparing for any future droughts. We're 96% full in the Equus beds. ASR is working. But also what's working, and I think it's important to understand, we're doing a much better job today of looking at our mix of water sources, where we're pulling much of it from Cheney Lake, much of it from the Equus beds. When we have capacity to pull water from Cheney Lake, there are times now where we will get 90%, occasionally 100% of our water from Cheney Lake. And it's pretty easy to understand, if we're not pulling an ounce of water from the Equus beds, that's as good as recharging the Equus beds. The other thing that we're better at is when the river's full and we have the capacity to bring water out of the river, we still run it through the ASR treatment facility, but now we have the ability to bring that water straight down to our water treatment facility. Instead of dumping it into the Equus beds and recharging them, we can bring that water straight down to our water treatment facility and utilize that water again, which eliminates us from pulling water out of the Equus beds. So when the city of Wichita can keep from pulling water out of the Equus beds and continue to recharge the Equus beds, it's good for the entire region. Certainly our neighbors appreciate that, because it keeps us from using water that they don't have the ability to change their mix. And so it is working the way it was intended to work. We think that that's very successful. What we want to still impress upon everyone is we still have a water conservation program in the works, and we don't want to take away from that. We will continue to impress upon the public that it's important to turn off your sprinklers when it's raining at this level. You do not need sprinklers when it's raining. And so if you can conserve water, it's good for everyone. The city of Wichita is doing a number of things, as I mentioned, between pulling water. We're also using gray water right now today to water a lot of our trees that we have planted in the right-of-way. And that's just another example of the city conserving. We hope that there are opportunities that we're working on right now to come to fruition where we will continue to use or utilize gray water in a larger capacity in this city, and there'll be more to come on that. So we think that that's all good news. certainly we're going to continue to work on those water solutions for our community because we know that growth will come and water is going to be a critical point of being able to grow this community. But we're in a good place. We are not receiving the kind of storm water damage we've received in the past. ASR is working. The Equus beds are 96% full, and all of that should be good news. The other thing that I want to mention today is the fact that we are really getting started into our budget process for this budget season. We have a couple of town hall social medias that are coming up. Tuesday, June 2nd from 2 to 3:30 and Tuesday, June 16th from 2 to 3:30. We're going to be holding our first town hall social media on the budget. So if you all want to sit at your desk and share in a budget session, you can do that at the convenience of your computer and participate through those social media opportunities. Is there anything that I might have missed, Mr. King, that we wanted to share? We will open it up for questions.
Real quick, when was that meeting about the budget? Tuesday,
June 2nd is the first one, 2 to 3:30. And then June 16th, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. are our first two social media opportunities about the budget that you can participate in.
Remember how low the Equus beds got before ASR, before we started that?
Boy, when we were experiencing the drought, I don't have those numbers, Ted. We could get those for you and be happy to. I think that's a great question to see where we've come from. I'll have Mr. King retrieve that information and email it to you if you'd like, if you'd prefer email. You're on the website, I'm assuming. I hope you come before that other guy you do that radio show.
Yeah, we'll get that taken care of.
All right.
how did you avoid flood damage in West Wichita?
We have undertaken a number of stormwater initiatives that now include dry detention facilities that have worked. One of them was about a $12 million program on the cow skin that allows water to spill out into an area designed to hold significant amounts of water under these significant rain events. And then we have some dry detention that's captured up on the northwest edge of town. It's pretty simple. If we can hold water back before it gets into Wichita, and if we have designed places to release water into empty areas and fields, it kind of cures the stormwater issue, and they are working magnificently. They're working as they were designed. There's some neighborhood ones that have worked very well. Our friends, when they built a neighborhood Walmart, put in more capacity than they needed when they built their neighborhood Walmart and put in a dry detention basin for stormwater specifically that helped that neighborhood. We are getting ready to add on to some more dry detention in west and northwest Wichita that will continue to make a difference. Don't ever want to say we've cured flooding, because it can always we can have historic floods past anyone's expectations, but we can tell you that we are in a better position today to handle stormwater than we were in just simply 5 years ago. And the folks in West Wichita, and I've been in West Wichita nearly all my life, they appreciate that. It's working. It's nice to see it working. Doesn't mean that it hasn't come out of its banks in some areas where it's come into some yards, but it hasn't come into structures that has been reported to us, and that's at the end of the day what we're concerned about, is water coming into personal structures. And so we're happy that we have what we have. There's more we want to do, and there will be a time when we can say that for all intensive purposes we've cured stormwater issues in West Wichita. It's getting better every day. Well, thank you all again, and appreciate you being here, and know that we're always open to your phone calls or opportunities to meet with you. Thank you.